The purpose of that second stepping stone is to establish another important reference, and that is and then next up, we have an anonymous question that I received by email. And this person says, I have to go back to family court to enforce a financial order that was, shall we say, very unfair and financially abusive in the domestic sense. I'd not done it earlier because dealing with it just floored me emotionally, which manifested physically, and the risk of a mental breakdown was too high. I therefore continued to put it aside. But now, having done one-to-one work with Steve and the Remmert method, I've put the wheels in motion. So well done for that. However, this morning I woke up crying uncontrollably about the judge telling me to get a solicitor and appeal it, feeling really sorry for the person, me. And my thoughts immediately went to suppressing it again and acting like it didn't matter. Having done the work with you both, I recognize that this must be linked to childhood. And although I've done a lot of work on changing memories, which has worked amazingly, things that relate to feeling the emotions of other people I encountered in my childhood seem to be the ones that come up now. So I sat with the feeling. What came up was sitting in an office in the social services with my younger brother whilst we waited for placement into temporary care because my mum had attempted suicide again and had been taken to hospital. We could hear the social worker ringing foster carers, but each time she said that there were two siblings she was trying to place, we heard her say that she understood and the next phone call was made. We could hear discussions about them just being able to take one child, and my 5-year-old brother looked up to me crying and begging me not to let them take him without me. I was 7 at the time, and we had recently lost my 9-year-old brother. I'm struggling to do this one on my own because I also lost my younger brother as an adult a few years ago, so there's extra emotion to pick through. Well done, first of all, for sending in that message and reaching out for help. And I'm so sorry to hear that you went through all of that. That is a lot. You're right that that's a lot. And well done for finding that link. What I'm seeing is two main references in those childhood experiences. So the first is, and I'm thinking of another one as well. So this is a bit of a long one, but you'll be able to, of course, watch this recording over and over to be able to remind yourself. So the first main reference from what you've shared is your mum's suicide attempts. So those alone may well be creating a foundation for suppressing your own feelings and needs for fear of how others will react. So children's brains are automatically, they automatically relate everything around them to themselves. And that's, again, part of survival. So this is also why when parents divorce or leave, children automatically believe that it was something they did or they didn't do, that they somehow caused the problem or should have prevented it in some way, because their perception is that everything is connected to them. The logic that what happens with their parents is independent of them takes a while to develop consciously. So when a parent attempts suicide to a 7-year-old, apart from the natural fear of losing the parent anyway, there also have been an unconscious assumption that it was connected to you or your behavior in some way. And the brain will automatically be putting in place strategies for preventing that experience in the future. So, for example, suppressing emotions or not expressing thoughts or whatever fits in with the references from previous experiences that child has had to that point. The second main reference is, of course, the experience of hearing those phone calls about being placed in temporary care. So it's very possible as well that the experience of hearing those phone calls and realizing that you may be separated from your brother, and at the same time, him begging you not to let that happen, created a strong reference for being expected to help someone feel better while at the same time being completely powerless to do that. That's a really, really powerful reference there. The fact that at just 7 years old, you were put in that position of feeling responsible for your little brother's emotional welfare, and at the same time, witnessing the fact, as you were hearing those phone calls, that it was completely beyond your control, uh, is like effectively watching an oncoming train with no power to save this person. That in itself will be devastating reference that makes sense for what you're experiencing now regarding the current legal situation. So let's look at changing those references now. Before I go into the details, for those who are new to this, and a reminder for those who aren't new to it, the reason this process works is because as you change these memories and you create new memories, while your conscious mind knows these events are unrealistic or far-fetched or don't make logical sense, the unconscious part of your brain will believe them as long as you allow it to. So just like watching a movie, while you consciously know it's just a movie, the unconscious part of your brain believes that what you're watching is real, which is why it triggers the production of the same chemicals that make you feel the same feelings as you would if what you were watching is real, even though it's not real, even though you know it's not real. So we'll need to change your mum's suicide attempts as well as the scene in the social services office. So I would start with however you found out about what happened with your mum. So were you told about it? Did you witness anything? However you found out about it, however you know that that's what happened with your mum, you'll want to change those. Change those memories, and I would suggest creating stepping stone memories first, in which that little you had the power to prevent those events altogether. In other words, give that little you a magic wand and put her in the moment before your mum took action. Imagine that your mum was under a curse and you can see the curse as a dark or whatever makes sense to you. Imagine showing the little you how to wave that magic wand. And as she waves it, it freezes the whole scene. And then she waves the wand again, and that lifts the curse. So you can imagine that darkness lifting and your mum's natural, authentic light then being able to shine from inside her. And the relief on her face as she's freed from that curse, and how she scoops you up in her arms and thanks you so much for freeing her, and how grateful she is. And then your mum takes you and your brother somewhere fun to celebrate. This will help to give that little you a feeling of empowerment that she never had, which will help to contribute to a foundation of feeling safe. So that's the first stepping stone. So practice it until it feels established, and then come back to this recording for the next one. So the second stepping stone is that an adult steps in and helps your mum. It can be anyone. It can be someone you know and you feel safe with, or it can be a celebrity, or even a fictional character like Mary Poppins. So remind yourself that the unconscious part of your brain can't use logical reason and can't judge something as unrealistic. It will believe whatever you give it. So there's no limitations. The purpose of that second stepping stone is to establish another important reference, and that is that you are safe because adults are taking care of what needs to be taken care of, needs to be done. So you as the child are not responsible for keeping anyone safe. Someone is doing that for you and taking care of everything. So practice that stepping stone until it's established, then move on to the final memory. So the first stepping stone is about self-empowerment. The second stepping stone is about feeling safe because you are taken care of and you are not responsible. And both of those references exist independently in the unconscious part of the brain, and both are essential for changing your current experiences. Then the final memory is that instead of finding out about your mum's suicide attempt, you're finding out that you're all going to Disney World, or you're getting a pony, or something else really exciting. So something that you, your mum, and your brother are very excited about. And this is the piece that I put in here to remind me. You'll want to do something similar with the death of your 9-year-old brother. So you do a stepping stone where you are able to prevent whatever happened, that he died. So you're able to prevent it with your magic wand. That's first stepping stone. The second stepping stone is that someone else prevented him from dying in whatever way. And remember, there's no restrictions or limitations for the unconscious part of your brain. So it can be anything. And then the final memory is that instead of him dying, something exciting is happening. All right. So you're all going to Disney World, or you're all getting a swimming pool, or a celebrity is coming to visit. There's no limitations. Let me know if you need some more ideas or suggestions for that. So the final memory is your brother didn't die. All right. So that's very important. So again, practice those until they're established, and then moving on to the scene in the social services office. So again, we need stepping stones for this. And I know there's a lot here, but just go through the recording bit by bit and just do one step at a time. So the first stepping stone for that scene is that you hear the social worker saying what she said, and your brother said what he said. He's begging you to not let them take him without you. But then you use your magic wand to freeze everything and everyone in mid whatever they're doing, except for your brother. And you show him the wand and you tell him everything's going to be okay because you have this power. And your brother is so excited and he feels relieved. Okay, he knows that everything's going to be okay. And then you wave the wand again, and you hear the social worker respond to someone on the phone who's thrilled to have a 5-year-old boy and his 7-year-old sister. And on top of that, they are someone fun and exciting. And again, it can be someone you actually know, or it can be a celebrity, or it can be even a fictional character like Mary Poppins. So the unconscious part of your brain won't question it as long as you consciously allow it. So you can imagine the social worker's delighted face when she tells you all about the wonderful place you're going to stay in for a while until your mum gets better. Practice that first stepping stone until it's established, and then move on to the next one. The second stepping stone is the first person that the social worker speaks with on the phone. The very first phone call she makes is the person from the first stepping stone. So, in other words, you don't need to do anything, and there's never any doubt that you and your brother will be together in a wonderful temporary home that's safe and fun, and it's like a holiday. So piece that's important there is your brother is never worried about you being split up, because that doesn't come up. You right from the beginning, you're going together. All right, then the third stepping stone for this one is that you and your brother are playing with toys or reading books in that office, and the lady is on the phone, but the phone calls are not about you. So it's some sort of business, so it's not social services. It's an office, and she's the receptionist, and she's taking calls and putting them through to various offices. And then while you and your brother are playing or reading, your mum walks in. And she's absolutely fine, and she's healthy and happy. And you both run to her, and she hugs you, and she says, "Are you ready to go?" And you all leave together and you go somewhere fun and exciting. So the beach or the park, fun fair. And in fact, now, because I had left that other piece out, add your 9-year-old brother in there as well. So in fact, the three of you are in that office just waiting for your mum to come. And she walks in, and all four of you go to the beach, the park, a fun fair, or whatever feels good for you. Right? Practice that stepping stone until it's established, and then move on to the final memory. And the final memory is that you, both your brothers and your mum, are all sitting in that office, and the office is something exciting. So it's a travel agency, and you're all going on holiday together, or it's the entrance to a water park, or it's an estate agent, and your mum is there to sign the papers for your wonderful new house that has a swimming pool and a huge garden, or it's a pet shelter, and the four of you are there to fetch your new puppy or kitten. So something fun and exciting. and the lady on the phone is finalizing the details for whatever that is. So that's your final memory to practice and establish. Each of the stepping stones, of course, with all of these memories, provides an important piece of data that will contribute to the foundation, and then you've got the final memories there. So once you've established each stepping stone and those final memories, then check how you feel about the current legal situation. So just think about it very briefly, like dipping your toe into a hot bath. And if you notice any negative thoughts or feelings, immediately imagine pressing pause on that and play one of the new memories to redirect the unconscious part of your brain to that new reference. And keep doing that back and forth until when you think of that legal situation, you don't feel any negative emotions. All right. So I hope that helps. I know it's a lot, but hopefully you'll be able to just use the recording. But let me know if you need more suggestions or if you need any more clarification or help. All right. And that's all I have on the list for today. So I will see all of you again next week. Lots of love to all of you. Bye bye now.